your agency sucks. I'm kidding. Am I? Well, let's at least fix it.
Joshua, you ready? Let's go.
The goal is to capture what is already being done so we can make our business more scalable. Because when you teach to others, it solidifies your knowledge that you can actually go and do it yourself and that your team can actually go and do it.
All right, so let's fix your damn agency because you've been stuck at, say, 20K per month, maybe less than that, and you're having a hard time getting past this barrier of 20K per month. It kind of sucks, right? And you don't really know what to fix. So we're gonna go through of the most common things, and we work with agencies all over the world, and these are the most common issues that we are seeing with agencies that are stuck at this 20, 30K per month mark, and they can't expand past it, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys 3 problems that we're seeing with the agencies that we work with on a regular basis and how we are fixing a lot of their operational infrastructure to help them scale past 30K, 20K, 30K per month. Before we jump into it though, I have to preface this. It is not your lead generation that you need to fix. If you say lead generation, I'm gonna slap you.
Larry, you can't just,
Larry, are you all right? How dare...
Jumping in, let's talk results first. And we got the iPad out today. If you're losing clients, it's probably part of the reason is that you're not delivering the results that your clients actually need, right? What you talked about in the initial contract, what you talked about in the initial discovery of the results that you could deliver for your client, you're just not hitting. You're not hitting KPI. And if that hits a soft spot, if that hits you in the gut a little bit, you need to get better at your craft. And so your client has hired you to provide a result for them. And if your team or you cannot deliver that result, you're going to churn clients. That's naturally what happens. So you have to get your results dialed in, and if you don't, you're gonna get stuck in this perpetual hamster wheel of needing more lead gen, and you're gonna be constantly churning clients out as you're trying to sign more clients. And essentially what it looks like is nothing like a funnel at all. You have sales coming in, and you have equal amount of churn coming out. And we see this all the time with agencies that are starting to scale. And as they're starting to build teams, their team is not able to deliver the same result as the founder was able to, right? So this is where we need to start training our teams a little bit better and be able to have workshops with them, get them training to be able to deliver the result that you were able to deliver to them. And it's not the time to step away from the team. And this is the biggest misconception that you're going to find about stepping out of fulfillment is that you don't have to train your team and that you don't have to continue to develop your team. So continue to develop your team, get them the trainings that they need. And if you were the media buyer that was delivering the result before, you should probably be the person putting the trainings in place to train the team. Because at the end of the day, if your team cannot deliver the result that you once could, those clients are not gonna stick around. So that's point number 1. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, I pray for you. Let's jump into our second one here, which is communication. I was chatting with my friend, Nicholas Reed. Can we plug Nicholas Reed's website here for a second? He's a website developer, absolutely incredible. He designed our website, workwithhydra.com. If you guys need websites done, he is a great person to go and connect with that. Okay, but anyway, I was chatting with my friend Nicholas Reed last week, and he was mentioning that he was sending a bunch of referrals out for paid media agencies. He doesn't do paid media inside of his agency, and he was getting feedback from these referrals that he sent out to his paid media agency friends that their communication standards were broken. And the results were fine, but they were looking for a different referral for someone that could simply communicate better. And so at the end of the day, communication is so often overlooked, and the standards of communication are overlooked. And at the end of the day, about 50% of churn issues actually revolve around communication. If we can just fix a few of the communication standards within our agency, you're going to fix the churn within your agency. So if you feel like this is you, here's a few things that you might want to look into. The first one is going to be reporting cadence, okay? How often is reporting going out? Is it once a month? Is it once every 2 weeks? Is it weekly? Is it daily, okay? Whatever your reporting cadence is, and not saying that there is a right or wrong answer here, it probably depends on the type of service that you are delivering, but reporting cadence should be regular. So what that means is if we deliver reporting on the 1st of the month, that means it goes out on the 1st of the month every single month, okay? Now, where we start to see lapses in reporting cadence is when it goes out on the 5th and when it goes out on the 10th, right? That reporting cadence needs to be consistent and needs to be rhythmic. And so if you have a sporadic reporting cadence, it shows that your communication standards are slightly off, and we need to dial those back in, okay? So that's the first point around communication. The second one is external comms, okay? We'll abbreviate this into EXT. COMS, okay? External comms is going to be the second piece that we normally see lapsing in our communication standards, okay? So things like response times, this one's so easy. Just hire a VA. Even if that person doesn't know the answer to the question, make them feel heard. And this is a practice that we have inside of our consultancy of, even if we don't have the answer, we don't have the resource readily available right then and there, we still have someone respond and say, hey, heard you, loud and clear. We're gonna go find that result for you. We're gonna go find that resource for you, no problem. And so there's at least the initial communication of like, hey, we heard you and we're on it. So fast comms, and I'm talking like within the first minute of them messaging, you should be getting them a message back, okay? It is very rare that someone is waiting like an hour, 2 hours for a message to come back to us, okay? It is very easy to bring someone in, whether it's a VA or someone overseas, to go and just simply respond to messages that say, hey, like this is what we need. Awesome, I'm gonna put a client ticket in for you guys. We're gonna get our team on it right away, you're heard. We have a system to make sure that we take care of whatever the problem is, whatever they need from you at that time. So that's response times. That's the first part of external comms, is actually going to be actual response times. The second part of external comms is actually going to be project updates. So if your client is coming to you and saying, hey, where is our creative project? Where is this? When are we going to receive X? Your external comms are broken. They should never come to you and say, when are we getting this? You guys should have project dates set in stone, and it's okay if they go over, that happens, right? But we should be communicating with our clients ahead of time. Hey guys, we're gonna need an extra 2 days on this. We're gonna need an extra week on this. Whatever it might be, we need to get those comms out ASAP. That way, they're not sitting there waiting and asking us, hey, where is this at? We're waiting on it, right? So get ahead of that. Be proactive, not reactive. And then the last one is actual relationship building, okay? At the end of the day, you cannot treat your clients like a number. We have to actually build strong relationships with our clients and make sure that they're actually feeling heard, that we're building genuine relationships with them, okay? And the perfect example of this is we had a client get in a car accident a couple weeks ago, and totally fine, by the way, but was feeling a little sore, had the sore neck. We just shipped him off a nice little massage gift card for a place in his hometown, and he went and got a massage. And you know, we were like, hey, that is us building a genuine relationship, because one, we actually care about the guy, but also it's great client experience as well of like, hey, like, sorry that happened, let's take care of you, right? Because that person pays for our team and our bills, and it's like, we actually care about that person. And so when stuff like that happens, that's what we do to build stronger and firmer relationships. So that's external comms, okay? Those three things. So quick recap on that. We have response times, we have project updates, and we have relationship building. If you're missing on any of those, very high chance that you could lose a client, okay? Now the third piece is going to be internal comms, okay? Internal comms. That's gonna be our third piece, okay? And with internal comms, client project deadlines, right? So this kind of transitions back into external comms, but internally, you have to make sure that you're getting your projects done on time, right? And your team needs to be able to know when the projects are due. So make sure your project management software is really tightened up. You actually have due dates on when projects for your clients are actually due. So get those internal comms tightened up, especially around your project deadlines. If you say you're gonna get something done by a certain time, don't just like say that in Slack, okay? If it happens in Slack, it doesn't even matter. Actually bring that into your project management software, whether that's ClickUp, whether it's Monday, Asana, and actually put the due date in there and get someone responsible for delivering that project on time. And then organizing your project manager to complete what the client has actually asked. So once again, going back and harping on the organization of your project management software, you wanna make sure that things make sense in there, that your systems are plugged into what the layout of your project management software actually is. If you don't have systems, please start systemizing your business. Pray that you do that, because it'll make everyone extremely happy, and your team will actually be able to follow a process versus just kind of running sporadically, okay? And then lastly, you wanna make sure that all of these expectations, okay, so that's 1 through 3. So we have the reporting cadence, we have the external comms, and we have internal comms. Once we have those dialed in, you have to make sure we set those clear expectations for our clients and your team, okay, to make sure that all of those communication standards are kept in check, because the communication standards don't just apply to you and your team, they also apply to your clients. And if they're having a hard time with the communication side, you need to make sure you rally them back in and know that, hey, these are communication standards that we expect from you guys. We can't have 7 days from now you responding us into Slack or emailing us back saying, hey, where are these edits, when it was 7 days ago when we asked that if you wanted any edits. So make sure that internal, external comms are really dialed in. You want to set those clear expectations with you and your team, and as well as your clients. So that was number 2, that was communication standards, okay? And before that, we hit on results. And the last one that we really need to dial in is the team aspect, and that's our third point today, is going to be team. I'm going to erase my board real fast, and we'll jump into team, okay? And team is gonna be extremely important for us, delivering the client results, delivering the right communications, but this point could be tied back, once again, to results, but it's a deeper problem than just results when it comes to team. At the 20K per month mark, you probably have one part-time, maybe one full-time employee in your agency. And if you have multiple employees, what are you doing? You're only generating 20K per month. You probably can't afford multiple employees at that point, unless you absolutely hate profit. In that case, go for it. But at the end of the day, when team gets put into the mix, we have no choice but to reflect on our leadership at this point, and we have to continue to develop our teams. And so here's kind of my bucket list of things that could be killing your agency that are team related, because there's a long list here. And so these are just quick reflection points. So first one is gonna be poor meeting structures. And these are all things that I could probably release videos on at some point in time. But internally with your team, meeting structures are gonna be really important. If you have poor meeting structures, if you don't have meetings at all, it's something that you need to reflect on, definitely, okay? Second one's gonna be no KPIs, okay? If there's no KPIs, if there's no standard for what your team is delivering, then chances are it's not gonna be very good. So, gotta get KPIs in place. 3, bad teammate onboarding, okay? Okay, onboarding, and this is more for team and of course onboarding for clients as well. But bad teammate onboarding, there's no standards, right, for the actual team itself. So you have to get your team onboarded and get them the expectations that they need. And once again, that reflects back onto KPIs. Number 4, being you don't have core values. No one knows what you stand for. And so if you don't have core values, create some core values for your business. I'm sure I will make a video on that at a certain point in time. Love core values, get clear core values within your organization. Number 5, unclear job expectations. Okay, expectations for your team. You have to make sure you have clear job expectations. If not, then your team's not gonna know how to fulfill on that. Okay, let's talk about number 6 now. Number 6, no team development strategy, okay? Personal development. And if your team is not developing constantly, if they are not learning how to get better at their craft, better leaders, they're not gonna be great teammates, and chances are that's an area that could be weak and could lose you clients. And number 7, point number 7 is no time tracking, right? So you don't know exactly what your team is doing, and you don't know how much time they're spending on client projects and if those projects are actually profitable. Okay, so no time tracking. Gotta get that time tracking in place for the team. Number 8 is going to be unclear company vision. Unclear vision. Guys, your team needs to know where they're going, right? They need to know that there's opportunity at hand. If you want a team that is going to crawl over broken glass to fulfill on your clients' services, then you need to have a strong vision that shows you why it's so valuable, why it's so important that they actually do that. So build out a strong vision. If you haven't read the book Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold, I would highly recommend it. And then the last one is unestablished company culture, okay? You guys have to have a strong culture. A lot of that is built off of values and off of vision, but at the end of the day, you need to have a strong company culture. It should be a fun place to work, and you should be attracting the best people, the best talent in the world, in the country, to your agency. And if you have lapses in your culture and you feel like it's not a fun place, an exciting place, you're not working with cool clients, all right? If it's not those things and you have a dull environment and a dull culture, it's gonna be really hard to attract the team that is going to fulfill on your overall vision. And so just one of these bullet points is enough to lower results for all of your clients. And if that's the case, then you're going to be churning clients, right? And so just a quick recap and wrapping it all up for you guys, okay? Results, communication, and team. If you wanna scale past 20 to 30K per month. These are all things that have to be dialed in extremely well. And of course, this was a broad video, right? And we're not getting into all of the nitty gritty. And at the end of the day, like, at least get your head thinking around these talking points of results, communication, and team, okay? And if you have all these things locked in and you're still struggling to grow, then I'd probably say that you're lying to yourself. But if it's actually the truth and you're actually doing those things, then you might have a lead generation problem. We'll focus on these pieces first, and then we'll actually see if we have a lead generation problem. Hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe, like, or don't, but do it. See you in the next one.